Hey YouTube, it's Hannah Loba. If you want more MotoAmerica content, check out the new and vastly improved MotoAmerica Live Plus app. It's the only place you can catch all the race action in one place all season long. Click the link in the description below.
Well, great pole position from Loris Baz, Cameron Beaubier, and Brandon Posh on row number 1.
And Josh Herrin, Cam Peterson, and Xavi Flores are going to be back there on row 2 with SDK, Bobby Fong, and JD Beach on row 3. Benjamin Smith, Escalante, and Richard Kerr. Then we're going to see Max Flinders, Ezra Beaubier, and Danilo Lewis on row number 5. Waters, Yates, and Sierra. Don't think Augustin's going to be here today, nor is Nolan. I think Nolan had a problem in one of the earlier races next to Camacho and Arango. Dion Campbell, Bryce Pint, Bobby Davis, and then we have Segura and Shakespeare filling out the grid.
All right, so 20 laps scheduled for this race as riders have taken their warm-up lap and their grid positions. So we're ready to get rolling. When these lights are off, we're going. Pop goes the weasel, and on to turn 1 we go.
Yeah, and everybody got a good start in those first 2 rows. That's why we see 5 riders deep going in, but it's going to be Cam Peterson with some changes that he said that team helped him with overnight, with 2 Warhorse Ducatis running 2nd and 3rd. And guess what? It's the guy that's unchained today, the guy that was supposed to finish and get 11 points yesterday, Josh Herrin. He's going to go all out today, Greg, and that's going to be tough for the competition. He's already up to 2nd with Paz there. Xavi in 4th. It looks like Beaubier is going to be back there in 5th.
Look at the job Cameron Peterson is doing early on. The attack performance, progressive Yamaha. This team, undefeated for years, lost the title this year. And Cameron Peterson, unsure of his future for next season, racing for a contract. He told Danny he wants to try to keep everybody behind him. But when we get to that front straightaway, the drives that Josh Herrin was able to get onto the front straightaway yesterday, pretty impressive.
They really were, and you can see, I mean, like for Josh right now, wrapping up the championship just had to be the biggest weight lifted off of his shoulders. He's got done what he needed to get done. His teammate was on the podium with him yesterday, and he's running right behind him right now. So for Herrin, he can just go out there and enjoy this race and have a good time and try to pick up some more of those bonus checks. As you can see, it's going to be Cam Peterson leading him out onto the front straightaway, but look at the speed that Herrin has there coming through that last corner, and Baz right alongside. And Baz looks like he's going to try to go to the front and go by both of them, and he does that. The 76 gets to the front as we go into lap number 2.
What a pass by Loris Baz to use a double draft.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you can see that double draft that you spoke about. But look, he ends up getting himself down the inside, maneuvered that bike over to the right.
For new players and receive bonuses.
Yeah, it looks like Cam Peterson has had a problem down in turn 1, Greg, as the bikes looks like still got power. I saw Cam Beaubier go through on Xavi Flores down there in turn 1. So I'm not sure what happened there with Cam P, but you can see the number 6 is there, as well as SDK on the number 40. He talked to me this morning about a little bit of an off weekend for him. Felt like there was a couple things that could have done better there as far as qualifying goes. But all in all, he's been so happy with his top pro team this year. And I told him, I said, look, you've been running at the front all season long. And but I think that especially after he wins at COTA, as he slides that BMW up underneath Xavi Flores, once you win, Greg, you want to get that feeling more and more. If that number 6 starts to creep in and get a little bit closer, you know, he's going to have another look over his shoulder, almost guaranteed, as you see Cam Peterson is pulled into the pits with a problem, obviously, with that motorcycle. And you'll see the bike kind of snapping through here as well. And even in that last corner, it pushed him wide coming out of the last corner. Hannah.
Jason, everything that Cameron said to me is exactly what you're saying right now. He has been struggling with that rear coming around mid-corner, and he's tucking the front in some places as well. He told me when that bike is in the window where it operates at its best, it's absolutely incredible to ride. Outside that window, it's really scary at times, and they haven't had a lot of dry data here from last year to go off of either, so it's definitely been a challenging weekend.
Just a torrid pace out front at those mid to low 21s, and wrenching back to Bobby Fong, the number 50. And there's the 54 of Richie Escalante. Now, Escalante did tell me earlier today.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of the same. So I use my legs a lot, and I've had some lower leg injuries, so I know exactly what he is feeling. And at this place, there's really not anywhere to really rest when you think about it. You're going back and lefts and rights all the time. The front straightaway here, even though it's probably a 5th gear straight with Benjamin Smith. So Benjamin Smith's right there along with Kerr. So maybe Xavi's changes that they made overnight for him haven't quite worked either, because Benjamin Smith goes by him pretty easily after we saw Chavi running up front early.
Benjamin Smith on that Flow for Law Racing Yamaha R1. Chavi going to take another shot. No, he's got to stand it up. He was committed to it, but couldn't quite pull it off. And he loses another spot. And behind him is going to be the 27 of Ashton Yates in 11th place.
Richie looks like he really wants to get by Fong, like he might feel like he has some pace. He tries to pull up alongside that Wrench Motorcycles R1. This time he's going to make that pass as they go down into turn 1. So Richie Escalante fires away and gets himself into the top 5.
You can really look at Richie Escalante in his injury-plagued season and look at his recovery. When I talked to Escalante about how he's dealing with it at home, as Escalante now goes fastest lap of the race, a 1:21 flat for him. That was 0.2 of a second quicker than Baz went earlier in the race. But in talking to Richie Escalante, Jay, I said, you know, you're still recovering from injury, getting back to Superbike fitness. He's trying to get really good run on him, is the 54 on the 6, and he's able to do it. But it's this point right here. Look at the run he gets on him. He makes up a bike length or two, but then all of a sudden off that corner when Beaubier gets it to the meat of the tire, it's another 3 or 4 bike lengths, and then Bobby Fong's like, hey man, I'm just gonna grab this spot for a second.
It's just so frustrating because Escalante's bike is working so well. You see that +0. SDK is gonna take a shot at Heron as they go down into turn number 1. So now, Baz isn't gonna know that his teammate is no longer the guy that's in second place. SDK is on the move and charging. See here as Heron tried to come back on SDK when they go down that front straightaway this next lap. I thought he might even have taken a shot there, Greg, in turn 5. So as you can see, though, SDK is getting close enough to the back of Loris.
So it doesn't look like Josh Heron at the moment has the rhythm or the pace to really go with Baz and SDK. There are 2.5 laps to go. Fong on the move.
Gets through on Beaubier.
Yeesh. And really make a move.
Bobby Fong looking to take a stab down the inside of Heron. Bobby Fong has got himself up into 3rd place now. So he has real pace, Greg. Another 20.9 for him as Beaubier also takes a shot at Heron. And Escalante is going to do the same. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Josh here, but he's gone from 3rd to 6th in 1 lap.
Really strong. By the stripe they go for the white flag. Into turn number 1 goes Loris Baz on the cusp of his first Steel Commander Superbike win.
Beaubier takes a shot at Bobby Fong and he turns it back up underneath him. So any little mistakes by the 2 in front is going to allow the 50 to jump even closer. What a way to finish our year right now. Loris Baz looking for his first race win. SDK looking to rebound from yesterday's race and get a 2nd win of the season, but Loris is looking really clean and strong.
The consistency of the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati rider Loris Baz has been incredible in the 21s for the entire race, able to drop his time when SDK closed up on him to a 21.4. We're in the final half of this lap, and Loris Baz is looking good.
Right now, though, he went in there real tight. SDK could take a shot there, but Baz closes that door early. Now he's got to be clean up through the 7, 8, 9. Look at both bikes spinning as they get up to the top of this hill. Baz has got to make sure to keep this bike nice and tight through this right-hander, straight line it to that left. Now his focus has got to be on these S's as SDK is going to have a look down the inside, but Baz has got that block, Greg, so these S's are going to be the key for Baz now.
Here comes the Frenchman. The last couple corners to the right-hander, onto the front straightaway. He's got a big enough gap. He gets on the gas, behind the bubble, to the stripe they go, and the victory goes to Loris Baz with Sean Dillon Kelly and Bobby Fong in 3rd.
Wow, what a way for this team to cap off their season by getting the 2nd guy on that bike.
You look toward the last half of the year in the Superbike class, Sean Dillon Kelly, Mid-Ohio podium, almost win.
This celebration from Loris Baz, this is phenomenal. 11 years since the last time he was able to stand on the top step of the podium. He will never forget this.
He won't forget, and I bet he hopes it's not another 11 years, but you can see just the excitement and, you know, just think he's been working for this for the last 11 years, training, giving up his life, moving to America, then moving back, and then back again. So there's a lot that goes into this, and especially for Loris.
Winner, Loris Baz. Love saying that. Well-deserved, hard work this year. Sean Dillon Kelly, 2nd place. Bobby Fong, JP.